Well, hello, welcome back to my kitchen. So I'm redoing this intro because initially when I did it, the meal I have planned for us, I was kind of doing it with 4 people in mind, but as it turns out, the meals are enough to feed 5 people. So what I did, I went to the store and I wanted to feed my family 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Nothing that repeats, something that's different from the last, like we're not using some of this for some of that, just 3 separate meals. And I accomplished that. So without further ado, let's get it, let's go. Let's heat up those pots, come on. All right, here's everything I got. I got a loaf of bread. And again, because of dairy issues, I have to use that bread, not the Walmart brand, but it's still a loaf of bread. Some mixed vegetables, a pound of ground turkey, a dozen eggs, 2 potatoes, and 2 pounds of rice. That's not Walmart brand, but it didn't make sense for me to buy more rice when I already have it. So I'm just going to charge myself the price I would pay at Walmart. I completely forgot, I also got a can of Petite diced tomatoes. First thing I'm going to do is peel up those potatoes. Get started with breakfast. All right, so I've already peeled the potatoes. I'm going to kind of chunk it up, and then I'm going to put it in here, and then dice it up. I want small, about that thick, like that. Boom, done. Kind of like that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the whole 2 potatoes like that. This is gonna be a really good breakfast, y'all. All right. Found some bad spots in that one. But it still made a lot of potatoes anyway. Let me rinse these potatoes off. All right, here's everything I'm going to use. I'm going to use some pepper, seasoned salt, Italian seasoning. You don't have to use these extra ones. I just add it, oregano, basil. I have paprika. I have smoked. I want to use the smoked, but I don't know if everybody has that. And some olive oil. Totally forgot. Garlic powder, onion powder, and some onion flakes. I have more that just needs to be refilled. We're going to make some home fries. We're going to add some oil in the pan, quite a bit, because the potatoes are going to soak it up. Okay. It's going to splatter a little bit because there's a little bit of water still in these. All right. More potatoes than I thought, but probably my kids eat a lot more potatoes than that. And we're just going to season the heck out of these. We're going to add a bunch of seasoned salt. We're going to add some pepper. Add some Italian seasoning. Got to add some minced onion, a good handful, because I usually put a lot of onion in mine. Add some onion powder because it hits different. Some garlic powder, a lot of it. Some oregano. And I'm going to go with the regular paprika because I don't know if everybody else's has the smoked paprika. I'm going to mix this through and then we're just going to let it sit for a little while. There you go. It's got to have a lot of color. Gonna add some of the basil in there. Come back in with a little bit more paprika. I feel like it needs it. All right. I'm gonna lower it down and I'm gonna let these things sit covered so they can steam a little bit. And then we'll let them brown up. While this is doing its thing, we're gonna get over there. We're gonna start working on the egg cups. All right, so while the potatoes are doing their thing, we're gonna get going on this. And we're not just making egg sandwiches. If you're gonna be on a budget, you kind of do things just to make it feel like more and feel like you're having a big deal when really you're not. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna make these egg cups kind of a thing. And what you need, I think I'm gonna make 3 per person. So that would be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll start off with the first 5. What you're gonna do now, you could leave the ends on or not. It doesn't matter to me. You probably have enough bread to leave it on and do everything that I want. But today, we're going without the crust. So we're gonna take each piece of bread and we're just gonna cut the edge off. And we're gonna use those because we're gonna make breadcrumbs out of those for later, for dinner. So they're not getting wasted. Whoops, cut that a little bit skimpy. I'll come back to that one. Just like that. So we're gonna cut off all the edges of all the bread so they look like this. So I'm going to do that to 12 slices of bread. All right, and that's 12. Let me bag that up for later. We're all bagged up. What we're going to do now is you're going to take a jar, you're going to take a rolling pin, whatever you got, and we're going to roll these out nice and thick, just like that. Now we're going to do that to all 12 of the ones I have. You could do more or less. I just don't think that my kids are going to eat more than 3. And if they want more, I can always make them another one. It's not that hard to make. So just, oops, I got to hold this down. Keep going. All right, and that is 12. Boom. All right, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna spray the insides of the well with a little bit of oil. I'm gonna do only 6 of them, and then I'm gonna wipe it and see if I have enough on my napkin here that I don't need to spray all 12 of them. You don't want them to stick, but you don't want a lot of oil in here, but you don't want it to stick. All right, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna take your bread, let me move this out of the way, and you're just gonna set it down. Let me do one closer. In the well like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it in there so that there's like a cup. Just like that. All right, last one. Boom. So we're gonna put these in the oven just so they can toast up a little bit, okay? All right, so I put 5 eggs in the bowl. Gonna add a 6th egg. To the eggs, we're going to add some pepper to taste, salt, a splash of vanilla, splash or 2 in there. Okay, give it that French toasty kind of feel. Now you could add milk, you could add water. I'm going to add, because Eric's having some, I can't use regular milk, so I'm going to use a little bit of his plant-based heavy whipping cream. Not all of this. Just a splash or two. There we go. Maybe about a teaspoon. That's it. If I need more eggs, I'll break more open. I just don't want to crack open too many. I really only need maybe 3 more eggs, if that. All right. Let me get the bread out of the oven. All right, got something out to scoop it with. You're going to take a little bit of olive oil or vegetable spray, and you're going to spray inside the bread. What it's going to do is it's going to make a little bit of a barrier between the egg and the bread so it doesn't soak through. If you don't have it, it's not that big a deal. But if you do, pop, that's it. Pop, just like that. Get the other side. I can't reach those over there. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to fill them with the eggs. So we're just going to kind of fill up the little wells. But remember, the eggs are going to puff. So you don't want them super full. All right, so we're going to put these in the oven until they're done. That's all I could say. If you got some cheese, put it on there. You know what I'm going to put on it, though? A little bit of parsley, just for color for when it comes out of the oven. Just for the pretty. All right, in these are going. All right, let's give these a little check-a-doodle. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, they softened up nicely. Okay, so I'm going to leave the lid off now because now I want them to brown. Just going to let it sit just like that to let them brown up. All right, so we're just going to give these a little flip. And that's all we're going to do. Just waiting for the eggs to finish up. And we're going to have breakfast. I like to get a little bit of a crisp on mine. But these are done. And those are done. And so are the potatoes. Let me plate that up. And there is the breakfast for the 4 of us. I could have made a 5th. There's still some more potatoes over there. This is going to be quite filling. I know it's a lot of carbs, but when you're working with a small budget, I did the best I could. I got some protein in there, got some bread. We're going to call that potatoes and vegetables. So let's get to tasting. All right, Eric and I are going to taste right here because we got to get on with our day. All right, just pick it up and take a bite.
Okay.
Right down the bottom there. Tell me how you like it. It's going to be a little, mine has a little egg on the bottom. You might taste a little bit French toasty, but let's give it a go. Taste that vanilla in there?
Yeah, that's really good.
Try your potatoes. I'm doing it left-handed. Ready? Let's go. There you go. All right. I'll see you at lunch. Before I start lunch, I want to make some breadcrumbs for dinner. I get those in the oven at the same time I'm cooking. I got a bunch of spices on my counter. You can make your breadcrumbs however you want. I just grabbed everything. I got some thyme, Italian seasoning, parsley, oregano, basil, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. We're going to need some oil, just a little bit, and then the bread ends from yesterday. So I'm just going to douse it in some seasonings, whatever you want. You can even add Parmesan cheese to this. I'm not going to because of Eric. I could use his, but I don't think I want to make it like that. So that was thyme, Italian seasoning. Parsley is just dump it in there, guys. It's really not that serious. It's breadcrumbs. Oregano. Basil. Garlic. Like a lot of garlic. Onion powder. Some pepper. And some salt. You know what? I think I'm going to mix this on the sheet pan. Let me get the sheet pan. Change my mind again. I'm going to put it in this and shake it. So I sprayed the pan down a little bit. I'm going to put this over here. Instead of using the oil, I'm going to use the spray. Give it a nice toss. All right, so we're going to put those in the oven just to toast them up. Breadcrumbs are done. I'm just going to stick them back in here until we need them for dinner. All right, here's lunch. I made 8 cups of rice. There's some in here and then 2 in the bowl, 2 bowls back there. I took out 3 of my eggs, which leaves me with 3 more. I don't need 3 more. There's plenty of leftovers if you wanted to have more for the breakfast or add more egg to this. We don't usually add egg to our fried rice, but since it's a budget meal, I'm trying to get in as many calories and nutrients in as I can. I know that this meal had a lot of bread and carbs in it, but when you're going on an extreme budget, I'm going for full rather than nutrition. If that, I don't really mean it like that, but I mean it like that. So we got the rice, 3 eggs. I have some ground ginger, which is this right here, but I have it in the cup. Some pepper, parsley, onion powder, garlic powder, onion flakes, seasoned salt. I don't know if I'm going to use that or not. Hoisin sauce and soy sauce. You're also going to need some kind of a vegetable if you want and some oil to cook it in. All right, so I'm going to make a quick sauce. It may not be enough for the amount of rice that I have, but it'll at least get us started. All right, in here I have 3 or 4 tablespoons of onion flake or minced onion. What I do when I'm using this and I want to add it to liquid, I don't want it to soak up all the liquid to reconstitute them or rehydrate them. So I just take a little bit of warm water. I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I just put enough in there to make it wet. And that'll soak up and make the onions kind of new again. These are minced, but needs a little bit more water than that. And if you have extra water in there, I use it if I accidentally put too much water because there's flavor in the water. All right, so we're going to let that do its thing for a minute. Meanwhile, I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup of low sodium soy. I am likely going to need way more than that because I have 8 cups. This was not ground ginger. This is chicken broth. I usually add that into the rice when I'm cooking it to add flavor. I forgot. So in she goes now. I'm going to add a dash of ginger. I'm going to add a little bit of the hoisin. This is a 1/4 cup, and that's not even all the way full. It's 3/4 of it. I just wanted you guys to really see just what I put in it versus how much I have of it. Garlic. I like lots of garlic. I will definitely add more garlic when we get to the pan. Onion. And we're going to give that a mix. I am positive I'm going to need more, but you see that? I'm going to add it as late as I can. Alrighty. So I got a couple of tablespoons of oil in the pan. It's not dirty. It's just what I cooked the rice in earlier. I just rinsed it out. Got to add this first bowl of rice. It's already sucked up the oil. There's the second bowl. I add a little bit of oil to the top. I'm just gonna move this around a little bit before it starts to stick. Rice is always better the next day, but if you can't do it the next day, the best thing is to do is get it in the refrigerator, soak out some of the moisture so you don't have mushy fried rice. All right, I'm gonna add the onions to it. Going to add the soy sauce mixture that we made. You could add a little bit of brown sugar. Some people do that. Let's get that mixing up. All right, I added another 1/4 cup of soy. I'm gonna add, this is a garlic. I'm gonna add a bunch now. I just like to get it started a little bit. More onion. It's about a tablespoon of parsley. And we're gonna give that a good old mix. And we're just gonna keep going until I get to the vegetables. All right, so I have 3 of the eggs. The kids didn't even want that. I'm not gonna add any salt or anything to this because there's quite a bit in there. So I don't wanna add more. Just gonna cook that up. And then we're gonna add some vegetables to this. So it's a little bit loose, the egg, and I want it like that. We'll get that bottom up right there in just a second. Going to add the vegetables. Just going to add a little bit to loosen up the bottom of that egg. There we go. And now we're going to add the vegetables and then mix everything in. I warmed them in the microwave. There were a lot of peas and carrots in this mixed vegetables. I don't know why, but there was a lot of them. This is not the whole bag. This is just most of, or half, not even half of the bag. Because I need it for dinner. All right, we're gonna combine all this together and see what she looks like if I want to add more vegetables or not. And that is lunch. And there are 5 full servings of rice there, and I still have some left over. Let's get to tasting it. All right, here we go. I got Eric down here. Let me give him his plate. Here you go, Eric. All right, let me get a tasty poo. See how that is with a little bit of egg in it. My kids aren't a fan of egg in their rice, but I put it in there anyway. All right, you ready, Eric? Let's go. That's good. So what do you think about it, Eric?
It's really good.
And Aiden, what'd you think?
It's very.
So what we're gonna make is a hint to Salisbury steak, and I'm gonna try and jazz up maybe a Spanish rice or something like that. All right, so I took some of the breadcrumbs from earlier. I put them in here. I was gonna break them up with my hand, but you know what? I don't feel like it. Just gonna smash it. All done. Here's the ground turkey. So, to the ground meat. I'm going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, tablespoon of ketchup, to taste on this. This is onion powder, some garlic powder, onion flakes, a half a teaspoon of beef bouillon, just a little bit. And then I have some breadcrumbs. I'm not going to add them all. I'm going to add a little bit. I do have an egg if I need it, but we'll see. I'm going to give that a good old-fashioned mixing up. Adding the rest. Boop. All right, I have a handful of the bigger breadcrumbs because I don't want them super fine like I got them, just chunky. One more mix. All right, so I got that done. I got this down into like 6 patties. I made one already. All I'm doing is I'm using this. I bought this at the Dollar Tree, y'all. So don't think I got anything special. And I'm just pressing out the patty. Hold on. I'm just pressing the patties out with it. And just doing the best I can. Boom. Done. So, just gonna make 6 patties. Or however many patties I come up with. All right, there we go. I got 6 decent size burgers. Let's get over to the frying pan. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little pan. I'm going to have to cook them in batches because my other pan has been in use. It's in the dishwasher. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these burgers and I'm just going to cook them up. Nothing more than that. Just brown them up on both sides, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do. While the burgers are cooking, let's start on the rice. This is the juice out of the can of the Petite diced tomatoes, is 1/4 cup. To that, I'm going to add what I have here in the cup is a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, and a 1/2 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. And we're just gonna mix that together. And 1/2 cup of ketchup. You could use tomato paste and things like that. I don't have it. If you want to give it a little bit of a zing, you can add a little bit of distilled vinegar or white vinegar. And then we're gonna do salt and pepper to taste. All right, let's get started with the rest. To the pot. I'm going to add a bunch of oil, olive oil, and we're going to add some garlic. If you don't have it, you can use garlic powder. So we're going to add a plop or 2 of rice. We're going to let that become fragrant. Okay, we're going to add this mixture in. This is not my recipe. I will leave it in a description box. If I taste it and it doesn't taste good to me, I will change it. Okay. All right. I tasted that. I add the teeniest of tiniest of dash of that. I'm gonna add. Might as well go for it, the whole can. We're gonna let that simmer for a minute and then we're gonna add the rice. Gotta add some salt and pepper to this. I wanna reduce it a little bit to get that ketchup-y taste out of it. A little bit of salt. Let's give that a minute. Gonna add another 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, another 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. I removed most of the broth just so I get the rice in here and make sure I have the ratio right. All right, have a little more rice. Okay. We don't have a lot of vegetables left, but we got a lot of rice. So I scooped out most of the tomatoes out of here just to mix it through, just to make sure I don't overpower the rice. I felt like I made too much gravy or mixture, whatever that is. Probably not. Just me worrying. All right, so we're going to mix this through. We're good. I'm just gonna put it all in there. It's fine. And we're just gonna let the rice absorb the flavors. And if I need any salt or pepper, I'll add more. Add a little parsley for color. All right, one more thing and we're done zhuzhing this up. I'm gonna add some paprika. Whoops, overshot the pan. To taste. That was probably a heavy teaspoon. All right, we're gonna get back to the burgers and then start the brown gravy. Those three are done. Let's get started on the gravy. I'm just going to mix it with some water in a saucepan until it becomes gravy. All right, so I'm gonna put these other burgers back in here to keep them warm. This one wants to fall apart for some reason, but we're not gonna let it happen. All right, the gravy is done. Booyah. I actually added a little bit extra water, a half a cup or so more. Doesn't make much of a difference, but it gave me more gravy. Hamburger's done, gravy's done, rice is done, vegetables are done. It's time to start plating up. Now, what you can do right here, let me turn it off, is pour the gravy over top. So it kind of soaks it a little bit. But these hamburgers are kind of fragile, so I'm afraid if I pour it over top while it's in here, that it will fall apart. So I'm gonna do it on the plate. Ah, heck with it. I'm gonna put a little bit on top, just let it soak in. And that pan is just residual heat. Save some of the gravy and pour some in here. Just a little bit to let it soak in. All right, time to start plating up. All right, I'm gonna show you this part. This is how much bread we have left. You can eat, they can have a sandwich, their burger on bread if they want, or just toast it up or not use it at all. And we're gonna take the gravy I have here. Maybe they can have butter bread. It's a lot of carbs on the plate, but boom. Look how much food we got there. All right, so the vegetables a little sparse, but it'll be okay. I still have enough to make another full plate. Boom. There you go. If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Dinner time! So just smear that gravy around on that burger thing. Let's get a taste. Ooh, that went through like butter. Could use a little bit more gravy. I didn't put enough on there, but I could add it afterwards. Oh, you got plenty of gravy though. You ready? Mm-hmm. Let's go. Mmm. Mmm. That's good. We didn't get very many vegetables. I ran a little short, but try that rice. Ready? Okay. Mmm. Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
It's actually quite tasty. I'm a little surprised at how tasty it is. Look, see, he's going back in for seconds too. That's darn good. So, what did you think about this day? All the food, the eggs and the potatoes, and then the fried rice for lunch, and now this.
I really like the eggs and I really like the fried rice. But overall, today was really good.
All right, let me get the other ones fed, and we'll tell you what they think about the meals. Bye-bye. Aiden, what did you think about all three meals? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I really like them all.
Which meal was your favorite?
The rice.
Which one, dinner or lunch rice?
Lunch rice.
Tyler. Of all three meals, what do you think about them as a whole?
The hamburger, the rice, the eggs.
You liked it all, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. Alrighty. Alright, well there you have it. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. leave me a comment. Either way. See you later. Bye.